Hey girl, let me try to uh, put this. Is it that? No. Is it that? No. Okay. I can't never remember what thing it is. I can't. I cannot see your username. Whoever that is that said hi, I don't know if you can see my username. I can't. Your username is not showing up. Is it not showing up for a reason? Yeah, I don't know. And y'all gonna have to start getting these people out of the chat because I don't know. I don't know what people are doing. Like it's weird because now my YouTube is showing ads from China. Like all of my ads are like Asian ads or something. It's something like weird. I tried to go into the settings and change it. I'm not really sure if it's happening on the computer, but it is happening on my TV, which is strange. I'm not sure if it's happening on my phone. I don't know, but we're just gonna have to be a little bit more diligent in the chat. And if it's something strange, just get rid of them. Their name is a dot. Okay, if they're not going to say who they are, then they got to go. As a matter of fact, let me just follow my first mind because I ain't got time to be playing with people. I just got rid of them because I don't know who that is, and I just don't want to be playing with people right now because there's too much going on in the chats and stuff. People are like losing their whole channels over stupid stuff. So I just got rid of them. I just blocked them. If you see anything strange and it don't sit right with your spirit, just block them. That's the best way uh, to get rid of that. So I'm going to talk about two things. One of them is a video that I saw yesterday with Miss Tasty Talks. Miss Tasty Talks is out here disrespecting the ancestors. So I guess Tasty Talks went on I'm not guessing because I heard it myself. The person actually played this segment of her video on her channel. So Tasty Talks lives in Texas and she went to the monument of a, I don't know if he was a slave owner, but he was some, person in Texas during the, slavery days, and they have like a really huge monument of him. Let me see if I can tell y'all the name of the person, and then y'all can go look it up for yourself because the video is on her channel. Is it on this channel or on her Vanessa Van Life channel? It may be on her Van Life channel. But is she the same person? Because she has two channels. Vanessa's Van Life and Tasty Talks. So I think this was a video from her Van Life channel. Okay. Visiting the Sam Houston statue in Huntsville, Texas. So if you Google Sam Houston, you will get, the backstory of who this person was. So to give you a little backstory on Vanessa, or Tasty Talks, I'm gonna just call her Tasty. She is a van lifer. She live in her van. I don't really consider her a van lifer because she don't leave the state of Texas. She she don't go too far. She don't even leave the city, basically one city in Texas. So the whole time I've been watching her, she ain't never left Texas. And I know you got to drive kind of far to leave Texas, but if you a van lifer, you're on a van life journey, wouldn't you van life in more than one area? Like, when you go outside of Texas, like every weekend, every day, every day, my husband leaves the city that we live in to go to work. So you a whole van lifer, you live in your van and you never leave the city that you're parked in. But anyway, she went and saw this statue of this white man and went on her channel and basically said that we put too much into slavery, and what our ancestors, what the slaves went through, that stuff is over, and it does not affect us in any way today, in modern day. Everybody that was a slave is now dead, so whatever went on with them is over. It should not affect us. And she was, basically saying, if I want to go and visit the monument of, a slave owner or whatever, that's my business. Yeah, you're most definitely right. And some people do visit, historical sites to see them or whatever, but I'm never going to visit a historical site and praise some white person that I know owned slaves or had a hand in hurting my ancestors. And what our ancestors went through directly affects us to this day. Listening to the stories of my mother, my husband's parents, who didn't even have the opportunities to go to school because they had to work. Now, these are free people. By the time my mother came along, my husband's parents came along, they were free. They were born free, but they were black. So they were treated a certain way. And that is, we are direct descendants of people who were oppressed. Our families were sharecroppers. They had to work the fields. They had to plant and harvest and grow. They weren't allowed to go to Harvard and prestigious colleges. They weren't even allowed to finish high school because they had to work. And slavery does not affect us. That directly affects us. A lot of the stress and PTSD and anger and frustration and hurt that we carry as black people is because of slavery. A lot of the conditions that we are in as black people is because of slavery. Redlining, keeping black people out of decent neighborhoods, putting black people in the projects because white people didn't want, even though we had the money to buy houses, We couldn't even live around their asses. Having a whole system put in place where black people had businesses in Tulsa, in Oklahoma, where black people had businesses, barber shops, shoe shiners, women were doing hair, seamstress, all of that. They went in and burnt all that stuff down to the ground. And you think slavery don't affect us? Like when I hear people say stuff like that, it just boils my blood. And the thing was, she stood 10 toes deep in that mess that she was saying. But this is a person who has talked about the, the dislike and hatred that she has for her own family. She don't speak to her mama. She don't speak to her daddy. If you don't respect the people that brought you into this world, of course you're not going to respect your ancestors. You will always be in a state of confusion. Your life will always be in turmoil because you hate the bloodline that brought you here. And you know what? If I was going through all of the things that Tasty is going through, I probably would be out here hating everybody too. I probably would. Because you really have to watch her videos to understand her, like, her mental process. This whole thing is like, my life was so messed up. Feel sorry for me. Send me cash apps. Look on my Amazon wish list and buy me stuff because my mama and my daddy was an alcoholic and he never took care of me and he always used to whoop on my mama and break stuff in the house. My Amazon wish list is in the description box. If that's how I was living, I'd be mad at the world too. I'd be mad at the ancestors and everybody else probably. But I'm going to tell you this, your life will forever be messed up. Forever. You will never have a connection to people. You will never have a connection to your relatives or anybody else because you hate your ancestors. You don't have nobody protecting you. That's why you out here living in a van, pooping in a Gatorade bucket and washing your behind in a crock pot. Because your spirit guides and ancestors then turned their backs on you. They don't like you either. Damn. Now that's got to really be messed up. When your own spirit guides, the people that when you were born, they were there to watch you take your first breath, they didn't turn their backs on you. They don't even like you. When you look in the mirror, when she look in the mirror, she probably see a cyclops. So she just mad at the world. But honey, if you want to watch a video of someone breaking the whole situation down, I don't know if any of you have ever watched. Now, it got a little dicey. It got a little much for me. I had to clutch my pearls for a minute. I was like, oh my, like my proper girl came out. I was like, oh my gosh, oh Lord, that's a lot. I mean, this woman. Let me find it. Because I definitely want to get her name right. I mean, this woman went, she started, Loca Libra. Her name is Loca Libra, Goddess of Order. She started at Genesis and she ended up in Revelations. And she hit all of those chapters in the Bible that have been taken out for whatever reason. She hit all them too. She just started at the beginning and just went all the way through on Tasty Talks. I mean, at one point, I just had to stop the video, and I was like, you know how that part in Rocky, that part in Rocky when when who was that was getting beat up? The black dude, when the Russian was beating the black dude up, and the little old trainer was screaming, "Throw in the towel! Throw in the towel!" That was me. That was me. I was like, I was on the outside of the ropes. I was just screaming at the screen, "Throw in the towel!" Because she was wearing Tasty Talks out. Honey, let me tell you, if anybody ever get on YouTube and do me like Local Libre did Tasty Talks, y'all, I'ma have to. I'ma have to come out. I mean, I'm a legit at that point. If somebody do me like that, I'm gonna have to be out here at midnight naked. I'm gonna just have to full blown. Okay, it's you're not gonna be like, does she do so and so? Will she? I'm gonna have to just come out. If anybody ever disrespect me like that, I'm gonna just have to just go chicken bones, chicken foot, turtle shell, eye of newt. I'm gonna have to just go off. Okay? All of that stuff that I be telling y'all, I ain't gonna, you ain't gonna never see me do blah, blah, blah on YouTube. I'm gonna have to do that. If anybody ever talks about me the way she talked about Tasty Talks yesterday, I'm gonna have to just go off. All the way off. Like off the rails off. Because I just would not be, I wouldn't be able to take it. I wouldn't be able to watch that video and just listen to somebody clown me to that degree, and I just take it. I'm just not that person. Yeah, she is. She is one of those people that can beef with the best of you. Local Libre, she can beef. She can beef. She ran circles around Tasty. But when you look at certain people on YouTube, people will tell you their story. They will legit tell you who they are if you watch them long enough. And hurt people, instead of really trying to heal your trauma, your childhood trauma. We all have trauma, but it's what you do with that trauma. We all have trauma. Ain't nobody gonna get out of living unscathed. Something is going to happen to you. It may not be physical trauma, it may be verbal trauma, or it may be abandonment. It's going to be something. But trauma is trauma. Some people look at trauma, and if it's not physical, they don't feel like it's as bad. But trauma is trauma. And how people process trauma is how they process it. And I can tell that Tasty Talks has not processed any of her trauma, and she is using that trauma to come onto YouTube and make people feel sorry for her. We've all been through shit. My life haven't been the best, but I'm not on here begging people to buy everything on my Amazon wish list. I mean, we can all come up with a story. Stories are easy to make. And if you don't really know a person, you just know what you see. I see a person that has some physical deformities because it does look like she's maybe blind in one eye or something is going on with one of her eyes. Like you can clearly see that. You can clearly see that she does not have any hair. I don't know if she has alopecia or, what is going on. I think a lot of that is the fact that she has that undiagnosed, untreated goiter. And when you see somebody that does not take care of their physical body, they're not taking care of themselves spiritually. And they're not taking care of themselves mentally. You have a huge tumor on the side of your neck. You have a goiter that is untreated, not properly diagnosed. So if you're not taking care of your body, your outward body, the part that people can see, we know you ain't taking care of nothing else. That's a fact. If you don't take care of your body, you won't even go to the doctor and let someone look at your body. You're not going to take care of yourself mentally. I saw a young lady on TikTok. She couldn't have been, she had to have been in her 20s. I'm going to give her 25. And I'm being generous. Young. She said she went to the doctor. When this first started, she went to the doctor because she thought that she had had an accident at the gym. She thought something had rubbed up against her breast at the gym, or she hit her breast or did something. So she went to the doctor, and this is what she told the doctor, that, I think I had a gym accident. My breast has, been feeling kind of sore or whatever. And the doctor looked at it and was like, oh, okay, yeah, it does look, like friction, or, the nipple looks like it was the skin. But it didn't, I guess, didn't really look bad enough to the doctor for the doctor to refer her to someone else. So the girl went home, and she said a year later, a year later, now she dealt with this for a whole year, her nipple inverted. And she finally went back to the doctor because at this point it's oozing, her nipple had inverted, and she was having a lot of problems. She said when she goes back to the doctor is like, wow, it looks worse. And she's like, yeah, it does. So they take a CT scan, they, look at it, and then they end up taking a biopsy. She's got cancer. She has cancer because she waited a whole entire year to have her breast looked at. So people in the comments of that video were saying, some people were saying, oh, well, you need to sue that doctor. And then other people were saying, for what? How do you allow something on your body to be not right for a whole year? That's your fault. That's not the doctor's fault. That's your fault. Because when it didn't heal, after the doctor said, okay, it does look like it could have been an injury. When it didn't heal within a certain amount of time, you go back to the doctor and say, it's still here. What should I do? Or what's the next step? Or can you run more tests or whatever. And this is what I see with Tasty Talks. You have this huge goiter that could be affecting her so severely. And this woman is living by herself in a van. She doesn't have anybody with her. She could just wake up one morning and not wake up. And you know what I'm saying. Wake up one morning and not wake up. Because that goiter could be cancer. But she don't know because she won't even get it tested. And this whole, okay, well, the slavery, the whole situation with slavery. Damn, is that a big ass camera on the back of their house? I'm so nosy. I'm like, you need a camera that big in your backyard? I guess so. Okay, but anyway, you see how I get distracted? This whole thing with the slavery. I'm gonna read y'all comments in a minute. This whole thing with slavery. Oh, and there's a second component to this. Not only did she say that, this whole slavery thing is nothing, she literally said that we are doing more to hurt black people now than what the slave masters did. There's more black on black crime hurting black people now than what slavery did. So does she realize how many of our ancestors didn't even make it through the passage and were just thrown overboard before they even got here? And then the ones that got here, the way they were treated for over 400 years. Did she not understand? Did she skip history class? Was she one of those kids that just stayed in one room all day? Like, how they do I'm not really sure how they do the special needs children now. I know they try to incorporate them into, regular classrooms. But when I was in school, the special needs kids, they were separated. They were in a portable and they stayed in that one area all day. I'm assuming that's what happened to Tasty Talks because she completely does not have a clue about what happened during history, during slavery, what our ancestors went through. She is completely lost. So she has to be one of those kids that stayed in one classroom all day. They made sure when they took them outside, she wasn't eating dirt. And because, girl, your whole thought process about slavery and what our ancestors went through and how that has affected all of us for generations and will continue to affect us for generations to come. It will never be over. And I will never go to a monument for any white person and look at them with any high regard because you are one of the people that kept their foot on the necks of my ancestors. You can die and rot in hell. I will never lay eyes on anyone that I know did that. And she's at this monument, all happy. Yeah, I went to go see him. And I don't look at people, if they were slaves. That's why you by yourself, sweating your ass off in a van alone. Because it ain't no, how are you sitting in a van it's hot as hell in Texas. Okay? How are you sitting in a van in Texas all day? We got air conditioning. I just come out here because I like the fresh air. But in the house, it's nice and cool. I don't have to worry about that. When I get ready to use the bathroom or take a shower, I don't have to worry about driving to Planet Fitness. I don't. Let me see what the temperature is in Texas. Let me ask Siri. Siri be tripping. I don't think she like me. Hey Siri, what's the
Hmm?
temperature in Texas?
It's about 93 degrees in Houston, Texas.
It's 93 degrees in Texas, child. And you sitting in a big ass economy van. I know that van hot as hell. That's why she mad at the world. She sweating to death out there eating. She on some type of carnivore diet. And you know when you eat a lot of meat, you get the meat sweats. Beef will give you the meat sweats. Let me tell y'all one more thing. Let me read this comment that I got from a subscriber. And this was on a video. Should white or other people practice traditional African religions? This was this was one of the now this video is old, but this was a comment. I'm pretty sure it's from a white person because their name is Morgan. I appreciate this video with your reasons and deeply respect them. You're right. But sometimes a spirit or Loa calls you and you have to answer it. I don't know why that happens, but it does sometimes. Maybe they remember someone in your bloodline despite you as an individual being white. I tuned out after that. Who knows? That being said, Caucasians have to be responsible for doing their research and studying and holding up the black community with whom we share our very primal roots. All respect. What roots do we share? Morgan. And then she comes in with this white savior complex. That being said, Caucasians have to be responsible for doing their research and studying and holding up the black community. Here they come. Here she come with a cape on. We got to hold up the black community. You don't have to do shit, but stay in your lane. This is exactly why I am extremely careful, and I will always be careful about who I teach. This stuff that I put out is stuff that I don't care about people knowing. But to really get an understanding of this is something totally different. You don't have to do anything as a Caucasian but stay in your lane. That's all you have to do is mind your own business. Everything is not for you. Now, this tradition is something that your ancestors wanted so bad for us not to practice that they would beat us. They would beat our ancestors, beat them, force them into Christianity. And now we share primal roots. We don't share a damn thing. We don't share nothing. There's nothing that we share. Because deep down, a lot of you feel on a primal level, you have a deep hatred for us. I was looking at yesterday, Jay-Z was at is it the playoffs, child? I don't know. But anyway, the Warriors were playing whoever. And Jay-Z and Blue Ivy were there, courtside. And so, of course, they get, the they get zoomed in on, and Jay-Z hugs Blue Ivy and kisses her on the cheek. And she like, God damn, Daddy, you didn't have to do all that. And, of course, that picture has basically gone viral. And the comments under that picture are just horrible. White people saying stuff like, "Oh, I'm so glad she stopped looking like her dad. Oh, I'm so glad she looks like her mother." And because at first she looked like her father. And, that would have been horrible. That's that deep rooted hatred that you have for the black man. You don't even want his kids to look like him. You would rather his children, the black man's children, to look like something more related to you. Lighter skin. Not them big lips and big nose, because those features irritate us. When you see a black person with a big nose and big lips and nappy hair, that's just too much for you to deal with. It's more palatable for a black person to be light skinned with a small nose, or be racially ambiguous. That's more pretty to you. It's easier for you to digest. That's his child. Of course she's going to look like him. She's going to share his DNA. But the comments were just crazy. But you want to share a religion with us? You want to pray with us? And deep down in your heart, deep down where your soul resides, I can't stand them ugly ass people. And that comes from your ancestors. Your ancestors was the same way. You can't help it. That's in your DNA. But you want to, I want to pray with y'all. The Loa came to me. Oshun came to me in a dream. Every time somebody tell me that, I'd be like, all right. I ain't gonna argue with you, but I don't believe that shit. I don't care. Well, this was after that Santana stuff. Those tweets from those tweets from Santana were old. Were like when Blue Ivy was young. And people were talking about her, how, nappy her hair was. What did they expect? She has 2 black parents. What did they expect for her hair to look like? This is just our hair. When people ask me, "Oh, what are you doing with your hair? You're going to dread again?" No. I twisted my natural hair. I'm just letting my hair be. What? Because I will, one thing about me, if you say anything about my nose, my hair, my skin color, I'm going to get on your neck. I'm going to make you feel stupid. Because this is how my hair naturally grows out of my head. It's nothing else I can do with it. This is it. And if you have a problem with it, you have a problem with me as a person. There's something wrong with you. Because it ain't a damn thing wrong with my hair. This is how it grew out of my scalp. This the hair that God gave me. This when my parents got together and joined DNA, this what I got. So it ain't no changing that. Santana said something about years ago. He was like, Northwest is prettier than Blue Ivy, just based on her skin complexion and her hair, which is just ignorant. But a lot of black people fall into that too, and that's part of the whole slavery thing too. That is conditioning from slavery. That's that whole light skin, you in the house, dark skin, you out in the field. That's from slavery. That's leftover shit from slavery. That's where that comes from. And I didn't even comment back to the person because what could I say? We're not connected. We're not connected. I'm pretty sure none of my ancestors would have been like, oh yeah, we're connected to them. No, we're not. We don't have a connection. And I think because I'm older, I'm in my 50s, this stuff is still fresh for me. It's fresh for me because I have heard the stories of my mother. I've heard my mother talking about how difficult it was for her and my dad and his best friend and his wife to drive from Louisiana to California, where, they had to, make sure they were out of the sundown states, and how hard it was to find hotels at that time that would let black people stay, restaurants, gas stations. So that's still fresh for me. Now, my kids, of course, will have a different view of that because they had a mother who, went to college and had a decent job. I didn't have to work for any white people. I didn't have to do domestic work. I didn't have to stop going to school in the 6th grade because my parents needed me to work in the field. So their story is going to be different than mine. Listening to my mother talk, knowing that I would have had a brother or sister, but my brother or sister, I'm not sure which one it was, died in a cotton field because my mother did not get any medical attention. And you think I can pray with you and help you uplift your ancestors? I'm not. I'm not. And I'm gonna go to my grave not. And I'm gonna meet my maker not. And I'm gonna be able to tell him why I could not. I am. Because they say when we get to heaven, we can plead our case. We can tell, God why we did. And I'm going to tell him this why I said that shit. This why I did what I did. So that's that. That is that. Sun drop. My dad had to step off the sidewalk to let the white people pass in the South. All that. All that shit. Mine too. Mine too. Having to go in the back door of stores and stuff. Like my mom, she did like a lot of domestic work, and she would have to, go to the grocery stores and stuff to get the groceries and cook and all of that kind of stuff, and having to go in the back of the store and not be able to make eye contact with white people. What the hell? I can't even look at you in your face. But slavery that didn't bother us. We're not affected by that. Like we couldn't even look them demons in their face. Our ancestors couldn't even look at them demons in their face. Shut up talking to me. We don't have a connection. Our ancestors are not connected. Our ancestors don't even want to be venerated on the same table. They don't have a connection to you or your ancestors. So, nah, that ain't me. I'm not doing it. I know God is just going to, when he see me coming, he going to be like, let her sit down, let her sit down, let her talk, let her talk. I know she going to come here with a story, let her talk. He probably already didn't, let her sit down, because we going to be here for a minute. Because you know that girl like to talk. And I'm going to just tell him. I'm going to just tell him. Shit. Because if they did, they would know heaven is full of neuromelanated people. When I almost died and went to the cosmos, all I saw was melanated people. I heard that. I had one of those moments too. I was young though. I had pneumonia. I don't know if I passed out or what, but it was one of those, you know. Was Carol Ann supposed to go into the light or don't go into the light? I don't know, but I was trying to go into the light, child. And I woke up. I didn't see no people. All I saw was light. I didn't see any people. I don't think was there long enough to see people. But when I woke up, my mother was saying the ambulance is on the way. I do remember that. So I think I must have had like passed out. And I remember my mom saying, just, the ambulance is on the way, the ambulance is on the way. And not too long after that, the ambulance came and they took me to the hospital. I had pneumonia, and I was like 17, 18 years old. And I had double pneumonia. So, yeah, I've had that experience too, but I just didn't see anybody, which I think is good. Yeah, my mother was born in 1917 when she adopted me. She was born in 1917. So I can only imagine I'm pretty sure that she kept a lot of that stuff to herself that she went through. But, talking about only going to the 6th grade when she really did enjoy school, but she had to stop going to school because she had to start helping her family in the fields and stuff. Helping her mom around the house with the other kids. And she said, plus, at that time, most black people only went to the 6th grade. That was it. So, I don't know. When I look at people who, especially black people who say things like slavery didn't affect us, I'm like, you have to be mentally ill. There has to be something seriously wrong with you not to understand the long-standing repercussions of slavery. We won't ever get over that because it's always going to be some crazy white people trying to make us remember. Even though they don't want to show that shit in schools, they still out there. The crazies are still out there. The children of the crazies are still out there. It always stings me when I think about my grandfather fighting for this country in World War II only to come back and be mistreated. That's all veterans, though. You know what I mean? Like this, but it's just this country, period. This country is built on a lie, on lies, on, violence, and just not taking care of its own people. This country is just founded on bloodshed and lies. They don't take care of nobody. And it's sad. It is really sad. Like, I never told my kids to go into the military. There was a time when black people, especially older black men, were like telling their sons, either you go in the military or you get a job, because that basically happened to my husband. His dad had told him, either you gonna go in the military or you gonna get a job. So my husband went in the military. That was like a thing in like the 70s and 80s because my uncles did too. I never told my kids there to go into the military because this country ain't gonna do nothing for nobody, especially not black people. Fight for this country for what? You're not going to get anything in return. The healthcare at the VA sucks. We've been trying to get a house through the VA for the longest. You're not going to get anything. So, it's not worth it. It's definitely not worth it. Yeah, I would never, ever tell my kid to go into the military. Never. Kids, grandkids, nobody. Unless that was something that they were really interested in. But then still, if you have a child that wants to be a pilot or, they're interested in aeronautics or something, they still gonna have to fight they behind off to be a pilot because it's not a whole lot of black pilots. They gonna have to fight for everything. Like, we have to be the best. And even when we're the best, we still get skipped over because they're jealous that we are the best. But they bred us to be the best. They picked the strongest men from the plantations, the strongest looking women, and they bred them together. So we were bred to be the best. They bred us like animals. Like you breed dogs and cats. You want a litter of good puppies. You get rid of the runt of the litter. He's not going to make you no money. That's how they did us. So you get the strongest bucks from each plantation, and you mate him, you force him to be with a strong woman, that's how they bred the slaves. And then when they have a baby, you take that baby from her and you sell that baby to another plantation to keep that shit going. You split up the families. That's how the NBA and all that shit is done. They want the best so they can win. That's always been the white man's mentality. That's how they've always operated. Oh, you have a big, strong, strapping black man on your plantation. Oh, well, I got a woman that be out here doing this and doing that. She can carry 100 pounds. Let's get them together and have a baby. And then when the baby come, we can sell that baby and then make them do it again. Do you know how evil you have to be to force people to get together, and then when they do get together and this woman carries a baby for 9 months, you take that baby from her? Do you know how evil you have to be? Do you know how evil your ancestors were? And then you think we gonna sit at the table together and sing Kumbaya? I'm not. I'm not. You gotta do that with somebody else. You gotta do that with somebody who was born in the 2000s, who doesn't have a connection to their ancestors, who don't know what their family went through. I do. I know my family came here from Louisiana. They left Louisiana because they were so poor. They came to California to try to make a better life. I've heard the stories. So I know who my people are. You got to do that with somebody who, been here all their life. Parents graduated from Harvard or something, they have a decent job. They drive a Tesla. They live in the suburbs. Do that shit with them. They will play better with you than me. I don't play well with others. I'm a weirdo. Sometimes I get irritated by everybody. Like my own husband irritated me this morning. I don't play well with people at all. So that whole, we have a deep primordial, no, we don't. We don't have a connection. I'm not connected to you at all. And the connection that I do have to you is through some jacked up stuff. It's a forced connection. Because I'm pretty sure that, if I look on my mom's side of the family, and I am, going to do some ancestry research, I'm pretty sure if I look on my mother's side of the family, there's got to be some white people there somewhere. Because my grandmother is freckle, my mom, she had them. But my grandmother, she had like real light skin, freckles. My mom, light skin, freckles. My dad was like really dark skin. So I have some of the freckles, but you can't really see them because I'm a lot darker than my mom and my grandmother. But there's some white folks there. They're there somewhere. But that don't mean I got to like you. I don't have to like you. Plus, when I was born, I had that weirdo, dirty, blonde hair at birth. To the point where my dad even thought, okay, what is going on with her? Why is her hair that color? And so it's something there. because my son, when he was born, he had it too. But the older we get, the darker. His hair is lighter than mine, and his eyes are lighter than mine. He's lighter than I am. So it's there somewhere. That DNA is in there somewhere. Oh, you have Marie Antoinette's husband way down the line on your dad's side. Yeah, I do really want to look and see where that comes from. I know that comes from my mom's side of the family because my dad's side of the family, everybody is very dark skinned. Very dark. I mean, we all have, none of us are just completely, especially us black people. It's a lot going on, and a lot of that is because of slavery. That's how it happened. That's how all of this mixture happened during slavery. Yeah, yeah, send it to me. Because people always love to say we're all mixed, like it wasn't right. People wear that as a badge of honor, and it's disgusting. Right, it comes from slavery. That's where we get all of that from. And it wasn't because we wanted, our ancestors wanted that. They didn't want that. They didn't want them white men slipping in and doing things to them at night. They didn't want that. That's how we all got mixed up like that. That's how you see a lot of black people with green eyes or blue eyes. But they say that there is a tribe in Africa, and a lot of the black people there do have blue eyes. But that green eye trait is something totally different. Because don't they say that the green eyes is less people with green eyes than it is any other color? Let me ask Siri. She'll tell me, child. Hey Siri,
Uh-huh.
what is the percentage of people with green eyes?
Here's an answer from reference.com.
Less than
Less than
2%.
2% of the worldwide population has naturally green eyes.
Less than 2%. So that's different. When you see a black person with green eyes, okay, you got that from somebody. You got that from somebody. Or gray. But I think it's more people with gray eyes than it is green. So, I mean, all of those things have a direct reflection of your DNA, your genetics, where you're from, where your people are from. I think that Beyonce has traced her family back to Louisiana. They have a French connection. You know what I mean? So if I'm not mistaken, wasn't her grandmother in one of her videos or whatever, and her grandmother is Creole, French, or whatever. And I think Beyonce has a tendency to wear that whole thing also as a badge of honor. But back in the day, when I'm pretty sure her grandmother was young in Louisiana, you were thought of as more prestigious, or looked at in a higher regard if you were Creole. You know, those were the stuck up black people because they were, you know, light skinned and Creole. My family is from Louisiana too. I'm pretty sure there, you know, if I do some real research, I'm pretty sure I got some Creole people in my family. Cause like legit born in Louisiana. Because I'm only like the first generation born here in California in my family. I'm the first grandchild that was born here in California. On my dad's side, I am the first generation born here in California. So we ain't been here that long. We were not from here. My people is from down south. They only came out here for jobs. Yeah, that red bone Creole thing. Because, you know, and it's still some people out here who look at that like, you know, you're someone special. And I think after she, you know, got into Lukumi, or I wish she would just come on out and say, you know, what she's doing. But with her going to Cuba instead of going to Africa, I am assuming that it is Lukumi or Santeria. I don't believe that it is Ifa. So, you know, but that's her choice. I chose. Where you going? How you get out here? That's her choice. And it was my choice too at first because I didn't understand the difference. This is where I came into this religion blind. I didn't even really completely understand the difference between Lukumi, Santeria, Isheshe, and Ifa. I didn't understand the difference. I do now. I do now. She doesn't speak Creole, though, as far as I know, because someone asked her to say something, and she responded by saying, "What's up?" in Haitian Creole. Well, yeah, I mean, if your family is not, you know, speaking the language, then, the language doesn't flourish. That's one thing about the Yoruba tradition. If you don't have anyone to teach you the language, or if you're not, you know, talking to anyone actively in that language, it's hard for you to. Why don't you take that thing off so your hair can dry?
Oh,
If you sit over there for a little while,
ADT is coming.
huh?
The ADT guy is coming.
Oh, to look at the thing again?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you better put him up.
But he's still never knew.
Oh,
He did last time.
why he? Oh, to fix the timer thing.
I don't know.
Go, Gizmo. Don't lock me out, y'all. I didn't understand the difference, but now I do. And I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, enjoy what I went through with Santeria, but I think that Ifa, because the tradition, you have a direct connection to Nigeria, you know, really to Africa. I think it's different, and I think that's what my spirit really wants. Because I can never, like, if I would go into a Botanica and it was Hispanic, I would always feel this disconnect talking to Latin people or Puerto Rican or, Afro Cuban or whatever they were. There was always a disconnect there. So I was always thinking, like, how do I get around these people? Like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to feel like I'm having to jump over hurdles to get to something that I felt like was mine. So I have been watching Obafemi. I've been watching a lot of his videos lately. I ordered one of his books. When the book comes, I'm definitely going to show you guys. I want to wait for this book to come because there are other books. And I'm thinking about taking one of his classes. I mean, Obafemi, he is a very, very good teacher. The only thing that I don't like is the fact that he is no longer here in the Bay Area. Well, right now he's in Nigeria, but I think he's moved down south. So I don't know how he does his readings through Zoom, or I'm not sure. That's something that, if I do get a reading, that's something that I would have to talk to him about. So the other person that I had said, okay, so I think that didn't work. I went to her website and I just didn't like the way she was like, oh, well, I don't do the readings. On her YouTube channel, she made it seem like she was able to do readings because she is a priest. So I'm like, why are you not doing readings? Like, she can do readings, but she had referred it to somebody else, to someone that she said is a Babalawo, but he's not her Babalawo. And see, once I go to 3 or 4 people, I tune out because I know how easy it is to get scammed. So I'm not doing that. Obafemi, I know him, not personal. Well, personally, I've met him. I've had a reading from him before. I've went to his classes when he used to have studies. I've been to a few of his classes. I've been to a few of his Sunday services. I met his wife, his kids. I've seen him around in the Bay Area. Like, one time I ran into him at a coffee shop, and he just sat and talked to me and a friend of mine, and we were all talking about spirituality and stuff. And I know he's a really down to earth person, and it's just so weird that I was there and so many things were going on in my life at the time when I first met Obafemi, and was trying to get back on track, and he was really trying to help me get back on track. And it was just so much stuff going on that I've just fell completely off track. And now it seems like things have circled back around. And it seems like that happens a lot in my life. If you don't know, me and my husband met when we were 17 and 18 years old. I was 18, he was 17. And he went in the military after he graduated from high school. And we didn't see each other for almost 15 years. I like ran into him and I was at a church service and I was like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And then we didn't see each other again for like another 5 or 6 years. And his sister found me on Facebook and we started talking. And then, bam, a couple of years later, we get married. I have the type of life that kind of, goes full circle. Like things will start, they will stop seemingly in the middle, and then they will start back up again, and it will be great. And I'm really hoping that this situation is the same way. I met him a while ago. Got some really good information. I fell off. I found him again. I'm getting some really good information. And I'm really hoping that, he can help me get the rest of the way where I'm trying to get. Yeah, I thought that he was saying that he was in Atlanta, in Georgia, somewhere in Georgia. His class is free. The classes that he posts on, the information that he posts on Facebook is free, but I think he has some extensive classes that you have to pay for on his website. But he does, if you are interested in this practice, if you are interested in Ifa, there are I hate when I look up something and it goes someplace else. There are he has a lot of really, really good information on Facebook. On YouTube. Let me see. There. Okay. That's what he looks like. So, go to his YouTube page and he's got a lot of videos. It's got 316 videos. So, he has a wealth of knowledge. He is higher than a Babalawo, I think. He is an Oba. I think that is a step higher, actually, than a Babalawo in ceremony levels. So, yeah, I think he's been in Ifa for a long time. A long time. So, he is one person that I can say when it comes to knowledge, I would recommend. He's a good person to watch. He breaks down the information so that people can understand it. So, he just came back from Nigeria as well. Oh, is he back? He came back? I know he was in Nigeria. I didn't know he was back. Yeah, he was in Nigeria with, I guess, people getting initiated. I'm not going to Nigeria. I don't want to do that. I just really don't. I don't want to go to Nigeria to get initiated. And I actually only want to receive the hand of Ifa and my warriors. And at this point, that's the, I've already received my lekes. So I do want to receive the hand of Ifa and my warriors, and that's probably it. I think that's gonna be it for me. I'm not one of those people that are, hell bent on being a priest because I know who I am. I have reached a point in my life where titles and people seeing me a certain, like, I don't care how you see me. I don't care. The only people that matter are my family, how my family views me, how my kids see me as their mother, how my grandkids see me as their grandmother and the matriarch of this family. That's all I care about. I that's it. And how God sees me. And have I done the things that he has put in me for me to do? That's all I care about. Being a priest and wearing certain things and, letting people see, oh, I'm this, I'm that. You will call me this. I don't care. I have really reached a point in my maturity that I don't care. I love wearing my leques. I do not wait when I'm out in public. My leques are always tucked. I'm not one of those type of people that's, no, that ain't me. I only wear them out when I'm, online. That's the only time you will, ever see them because there is no danger of anyone coming up trying to touch them or, drawing too much attention because y'all can't touch me. In public, they will always be protected. So I just feel like, my warriors are enough. I do want to have physical orishas. I do want that. But I don't want to, be crowned, and I don't want to have the responsibility of taking care of 8 or 10 Orisha. That's too much responsibility for me. Receiving your warriors means, it's different for everybody. Like you may come into it and they may say, oh, well, you don't need that. You don't need that. I've already been told that I need my warriors to protect me. They can be used as, part of your divination tool. By nature, I am a teacher. That's my purpose. That was the reason why I was put on this planet. I am a teacher by nature. I am a spiritual teacher. I'm one of those people that, came here, and it's my mission to help other people. I know that. A lot of people don't understand what their purpose is. They've never, fully understood their purpose. I've known my purpose for a long time, and that came up in my readings also. So I know that that's my divine purpose. And that's why some people are so unhappy because they don't have a clue what their purpose is, and they're just spinning around on earth like, a spinning top. You pull a string and it'll spin and then it'll stop and fall over. And when you fall over, you're like looking around, well, is anybody else gonna pull my string, or what am I supposed to do? That's how a lot of people are living their lives. I'm not living like that. So when you receive your warriors, you're actually receiving your first set of Orisha. And I think, I only need a few to start and see how, things will work out with them and see how I handle them. Because you have to get into a regular routine of, you got to learn your prayers, you got to, learn your offerings, which day to do this, which day to do that. All of those things are in your learning process. And I think that's where a lot of people get messed up at, is they want to be a priest so bad. They don't even know which day you're supposed to, say your prayers, what offerings you're supposed to do. And then you come back to the States with all of these Orisha and you're at home like, okay, now what am I supposed to do? You don't have a clue because you jumped the gun. So I'm not trying to jump the gun. I'm not in a race to, this is not like Pokemon Go. I'm not out here trying to collect Orisha. And I think that's what a lot of people, who practice this or who get into this tradition, that's what they're doing. They're just out here collecting Orisha. Oh, I want Oshun, or I want an Oshun pot, or I want a pot for a Legua, or I want Obatala. It's like you collecting Pokemon or something. So I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to collect Orisha. I want things to come to me naturally and, divinely, the way it's supposed to. I'm not rushing into anything. I'm still watching videos, getting as much information as I can from Obafemi when his book comes. I'm going to, read the book and soak up the knowledge that he has in there before I even, I haven't messaged him or anything yet. I want to get the book, read the book, go through it, because I think this particular book talks about the different days of the week, the clothes, how to dress, what colors to wear, what, offerings to give even before your initiation. And that's what I want. I want to, when I walk into this situation, I want to be more prepared than I was when I received my leches. Because I basically went into this part blind. And I don't want to go into this part blind. I feel like I'm too old now to go into situations blind. At my age, I should, with the wisdom that I have acquired, I should be able to, just not run into situations half cocked. I have to be able to sit and center myself and, read and meditate on situations before I just jump into them. And so that's what I'm doing. So I'm gonna bring y'all along. Every step we get to, we're gonna get to this together. Whatever I decide to do, you guys will know, because I'm going to let you know as much of it as I can. I'm going to share with you as much of the situation as I can. So that's it, y'all. I'm getting ready to go because the sun is moving and it is starting to burn my leg, and I'm going back in the house because it is starting to get warm out here and the house is much cooler, and I'm hungry and I need to figure out what I'm going to. Damn, my feet ashy. God damn. Oh, my heels look like I ain't put no lotion on them in a month and Sundays. God no. They look bad. If my husband see this, he'll talk about me so bad. He'll be like, what is wrong with your heels, girl? If you don't go put some oil on them feet. Ooh. They look horrible, y'all. Okay, y'all. I will see you guys tomorrow. Y'all pray for Tasty Talks because the ancestors gonna get her. Unless her ancestors are crazy as she is, and then they just all on some cuckoo situation. They all on Cuckoo Island together. But don't disrespect your ancestors and expect for, you know, things to be good in your life. Because it's not. That's just not how none of this works. Okay? So I will see you guys later. I love you. Thank you for being here. God, dog. I thought I got that blue fingernail polish off my nails. Blue is a hard color to take off. I love you guys, and I'll see you later. Bye.